something?
Close enough.
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts, that's exactly.
Dan Hogwarts. That's his name. Rasta Runner on Instagram. My man is an ultra runner, former American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bull rider, jack of all trades.
Master of absolutely nothing.
Also, like personal trainer. I know that you're working with some of our friends up in Montana. That's how I got to know you.
Yep.
And you're helping me get ready for this 18-mile run Bryce Canyon experience.
Yes, and there's so much to it. There's the gear, there's the strategy of the running, there's so much to it. And I think that like over the next few videos, we're gonna demystify a lot of the things that a lot of people struggle with in the beginning. So shoes, I'm excited.
Things to know about running. First thing we're gonna do is start at the ground up. Shoes, what do you need to know about shoes? I'm 6 foot, I'm 240 pounds, I got a bad knee and a bad hip. We gotta start. First shoes that I always wear are just my simple Vans Authentics. Magic.
Okay.
Now I know these are my standard lifting everyday training shoe.
This is the Julian edition.
Yes, Julian Smith Muscle Castle edition.
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm not a fan of the flats. There is zero cushion to this thing at all. They look fly. No matter what you're doing, these will always be in style and look good. But as a runner, the canvas material back here in this ankle collar, that's rough, man.
Not gonna be good for long term.
not.
This isn't 7 hours long distance on a fake knee.
I'm gonna say no.
Stack the cards in my favor a little bit, and maybe don't wear Vans Authentics for the run.
Yes, please.
Of course, these aren't ideal. Look, I have run in these before. I've done some treadmill stuff, some walking and things like that. But that's conditioning just for the sake of caloric burn. But now that I'm actually trying to get better at running, I need to look into what technology is available so that I can have a more enjoyable experience and training.
And shoes have come a long way, even over the past 5 years, on what's available in the tech. So yeah, let's talk about it.
The other ones I've recently picked up, I picked up another pair of Vans.
Yep.
Because stay true.
I see that.
Stay true. The Vans Ultra Range.
And who knew Vans even made a running shoe?
And these are running shoes.
Yeah, they're cool.
Dude, these are actually really comfortable. These were the first shoe that I got that I was able to run in that didn't hurt. And I can still run in these and do an hour already. Granted, I haven't run an hour in
Sure.
them, but I do find them comfortable enough for the hour on the treadmill or going for a run outside.
And what I like about them already is that you start to notice the difference in the cushion just by touching the sides of these. And this is like one of those telltale signs that I think that most people at a beginning level need to be looking at is when I squish the heel, is there any kind of give? That's an indicator of, okay, maybe this is something I need to look into more, or do I just need to toss off the table entirely, right? Yeah. But these are cool. The laces are cool.
That's
design. They do look aerodynamic for sure.
Is that a key?
It is, absolutely. Especially if you're heavy-footed, you definitely want to have
An arrow shoe for the speed I'm tracking at.
And typically pink laces will provide that for you. Yes. One thing I like about them already is definitely the cushion, but the other thing is if I'm looking at the back of the shoe, this is another big thing is the ankle collar right here. This piece of material, know that it's going to be pressing into your Achilles the entire day. And you want to make sure that there's some give to that. You don't want it to be too stiff. You also don't want the collar to be pointing inwards. The more inwards they go, the more pressure it's going to put on there, the quicker a blister is going to develop. So these are actually positioned really well, and they're nice and loose.
Pretty happy with these overall. Like these have been nice everyday wear. I like that they're a little tougher for training or anything else. They hold up well. Vans Ultra Range for a casual hike, casual thing.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
Now,
what else you got?
The last upgrade of shoe I've made is to the Nike Air Pegasus.
Good shoe, really good shoe.
Whoa. Yes.
Right off the bat, the big thing that I've noticed, chunky. All right, way chunkier than the Vans, which is a great thing. Here's why I like chunky shoes, and they get a lot of flack because they look weird.
Yeah, they're a bit like orthopedics.
Right, but at the same time, who cares what it looks like if it feels good?
I got bad bones, Dan.
Right, and the heavier you are, the more cushion you're gonna want, especially if you're at a beginner level. And look, I mean, you got at least an inch, inch and a half of ride height in the heel just in the cushion. So this is a good spot for anybody that would be, I'm just gonna throw out a number, maybe like over 200 pounds. I think this would be a great shoe for, even just to start with.
Do you feel like the extra ride height will lead to confidence because I'm taller?
In the beginning, yes. Absolutely.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Another cool thing about these shoes that I've noticed is the lacing system. They're pretty much a normal lace like you would expect on most shoes, but the way that they've got the eyelets in here, a lot of times like in better running shoes, you're gonna have control over each one of these eyelets, and because they're just kind of loose and they're able to tighten around the ankle a little bit more so individually on either side versus when you just have like a traditional eyelet system that doesn't move.
Yeah, I do like that they actually work into the shoe so that when you tighten it, they are pulling from within.
Yep, absolutely. And just a more like one-piece design like this shoe is here. You can see that it's all stitched and connected together. It's just going to fit better, and if you're gonna be in the shoes for a long period of the day, you want it to feel good. A lot of times when you just get shoes that just have like a tongue attachment that isn't one piece, a lot of times the tongue will tend to rub on the inside of the midfoot, and you know that can be a problem as well. So these one-piece designs are always a good fit in my opinion.
So you feel like these are an upgrade over?
Yes, I'm gonna say those look better. That's, like you said, a great day hike shoe, but if we're really talking about performance, I'm gonna say this is gonna be
so far this is my best bet.
Yep.
These I've been very, very happy with. I've used these now for week 2 of training, week 3 of training. These are what I've ran all this week. I did the Vans Ultra Runners for last week of training. And so this was also my best week of training yet, as it should be. I did a full 5-mile nonstop run with you yesterday in these, and I really didn't feel too bad. And then we did another 6 miles this morning, a little bit less running, and I'm beat up, but it ain't the shoe's fault.
Sure.
I'm just beat up because of now the volume I've done is, I mean, I did more in the last 2 days mileage-wise than I probably have done in the previous 2 weeks.
Yep.
These have been good. I ordered 2 more pair.
Same colors?
No, I got some new colorways. Okay. That way I can stay excited because new gear is half the battle of motivation.
You look good, you feel good, right?
Paper and goods. New gear for motivation. What are you currently running in?
Okay, so let me show you this for a second. And it's so much different in design, but there's a lot of pros to it as well. So right now I'm 183 pounds or so. I'm a heavier ultra runner. Okay. Most runners that run any kind of distance are in the 150 to 160 pound range. So I'm on the heavier end. I still appreciate cushion, but I still appreciate minimalism. Mm-hmm. So this shoe is definitely that. This is a shoe made by Ultra. Over the years, I've tried a lot of different running shoes.
And that's like ALT, right? Like
ALT-RA. Yeah, they're a Utah-based company. I really like these shoes for a couple main different reasons. Now, I come from a football background, and if you've ever worn cleats for a long time, you realize that they're a really tight-fitting shoe. So you kind of get used to that, how that shoe should feel. I should always have tight shoes, especially around the toes. What makes Ultras so different is that there's so much additional room in the toe box. Your feet aren't squished together like you would typically find in a normal running shoe, like a Nike shoe or a Solomon shoe. But what makes Ultra special is they give you all this room so that as your foot hits the ground, your toes aren't squished together, but instead it allows for that natural openness of the foot and the toes to splay forward and out to the sides.
My toes are definitely a little jacked because I'll typically life shoes, right? I'm gonna wear something between 13 and sometimes a 14. Like it's never a 12.
Right.
However, like my competition shoes for the years that I compete in Highland Games or throwing with track and field were an 11.
Okay.
So all my throwing shoes were 11s. I jammed them into the tightest shoe that I could, and it's stupid. This isn't smart in any way, but I did it.
Yeah.
The idea was it's less shoe taking up the ring, and it gave me more room.
Sure.
And then there's nowhere for my foot to go, so they're just clogs.
Right.
And that way they're never going to slip in the shoe because I'm doing a lot more dynamic things than just running a single direction. I am spinning and driving and turning and pushing off of a toe and then catching the outside edge and driving off of that. Yeah. And so I always felt more confident just the more crammed in. But basically that has not led well to the bone structure in my feet.
And you kind of learn that like that's just what's normal. Ultra is pushing normal in a completely different direction. So I really like that about these shoes as well. Another reason that I like these is because these have what's called a zero drop technology to them. The zero drop typically just looks at what kind of cushioning you have in the shoe. So zero drop means that the distance from the toe, or excuse me, the height of the toe is the same as the height in the heel. So if you look at this shoe, you can tell that the heel of the shoe is really elevated up where the toe is kind of pointed down, right?
Right, because it would be almost there.
Exactly. Well, if you look at the Ultra from the side, everything is in the same plane.
So it's a zero drop.
Exactly.
Got it. So same cushion for the heel as the forefront.
Correct. And what makes this a unique shoe is it looks at what type of runner are you. Are you a runner that typically runs on your heel, or are you a runner that typically runs midfoot to toe off? I typically run midfoot to toe off at all times, unless I'm running downhill where I'm trying to decelerate quickly. So my heel doesn't really ever touch the ground. So if it's not touching the ground, I have no need to have additional cushioning.
Right.
So you take the cushioning out of the heel, you have the zero drop feature. The shoe is a little bit lighter in design overall. Again, that minimalistic approach. And for me, it's just a better fit. But again, I'm a little bit lighter on that scale. If you're over a couple 100 pounds, I definitely recommend having cushioning in the heel, because more than likely you're going to be running heel to toe instead of midfoot to toe. So it benefits you to have more cushioning through the heel.
Now, do they make something that say cushioned this way, but a zero drop?
In the Nike shoe?
Yeah, well, is there going to be something that I'm going to get this much cushion, but a zero drop? Because I mean,
sure.
you've got cushion.
Yeah.
But what if I had 1 inch
Yeah,
all
you
the
do.
way across the shoe?
You do. And there's a company out there right now called Hoka.
Oh, yeah.
Hoka
Very
makes
familiar.
a shoe just like that. The stack height in the heel is the same as in the toe. They look super weird, but they're really becoming popular in the
I'm going to be
ultra
honest, that's
community.
why I've never ordered them. But
They're
that
like
is
so-
what,
I mean, they're
like
like
our
boats.
buddy Nick Bear.
Yeah.
Nick Bear runs in Hoka. I think he's
Love
sponsored by them and has been working with them. And I can't argue.
Yeah, a lot of top runners love them. You know, and really, if you think about where you're running, that's also important. If you're running on a hard, packed trail surface, if you're running on pavement, if you're a new runner, having that additional stack height in the toe and heel could be a benefit to you, especially if your ankles and knees and hips haven't been exposed to that kind of trail before. That extra cushion can be a benefit.
What are your thoughts on the actual Bryce Canyon terrain?
Well, I think that that's going to be a hard packed trail.
I think it's going to be hard packed. We were out there this year, and yeah, I mean it feels like a very high traffic, hard packed trail.
Big time.
I don't ever remember any point during the little couple mile hike we did that there was anywhere that felt soft.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm kind of spoiled with up in Montana is all of the mountains and the trail systems up there are very soft. They're
Lush.
so soft.
It's
And
just
so,
loamy ground.
Yeah, it's so nice. And so I can get away with very minimal cushioning at all. But when I go to run this race, if I don't train in an environment that's going to be comparable to race day, I'm going to feel that through my ankles and hips and everything right away.
So is that you'll do some pavement running as well to try and train for it?
I'm going to do some pavement, but I'm going to do as much packed trail as I can. I'm going to find surfaces that are similar to what I'm going to be running on.
Just
so
to
that
make
my
avoid
joints-
pavement anyway.
Yeah, I'm not.
As a less cars or a less pavement?
Well, less pavement. I mean, for me, it's like I'm in Montana. I'm in the mountains. Montana literally means mountain. So
What?
if I had the choice to run in the mountains versus on the pavement on the road, I'm gonna be in the mountains every day. You know what I mean? So
Good
I'm a
call.
little
Now I just got
spoiled.
to get to Montana and go run.
That's it. Yeah, come on up.
Ride bikes. I'll make you do Logan Pass with me. That'd be good for you.
I've never done it, man, but I would love to.
That's an ugly 13 miles.
I see people doing it all the time too, and I'm like, God, it just looks miserable.
It's just decide one day that that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right? That like today,
I'm
we're gonna
open to
ride
it.
all day. But
I'm
it's the
open to
same way I feel about the run. Like, I want to be in good enough shape so that, like, I'm not trying to succeed at this run. Like, I'm never going to be a good runner, but I can get better at running. And that's really what I want to show you guys, that I'm coming in on a really compromised hip that I'm gonna have to replace at some point, or at least get resurfaced.
Yeah.
I've got a knee that's already gone, but the rest of me seems to be pretty intact.
Yeah.
And so what am I capable of getting better at if I apply smart training and knowledge and lean into the people that I know who are experts to get as much information as I can to stack the cards in my favor of being successful at this thing. And so figuring out some footwear, having someone to kind of say, dial training in to make sure, what the effort looks like and what the hours you need to be doing, not mileage.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you stack all of that in your favor and you reach out for support, I mean, you can really have an incredible finish. And make it fun, man.
Dude, that's the whole game. Like,
Yeah.
I have far more anxiety about the next 12 weeks of training and being
Yeah.
consistent and holding to it, because I know it's going to become inconvenient
For sure.
when I have a 5-hour day or something like that. It's
And
just
you're-
inconvenient because I have other shit to do.
Right. And when you're alone doing it by yourself.
Sure. Yeah, I know that I'm going to spend more time on the bike when it gets to that because
Yeah.
I'll just be more confident
Yep.
in doing the bike.
Yeah.
But I'm excited just even like how much I've gotten better in the last 3 weeks of like how much more my knee feels okay and how much the hip feels good. Now, I'm fatigued,
Yeah.
but I'm not in pain.
Which is a good sign. The training's working.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's got to be good too because I still know that I need bone density. I need those other type of things that I'm not getting that training while I'm on the bike.
Sure.
Look, you can run, man. And anyone watching who wants to try to do a thing, you don't have to go out there and do 10 miles. You don't have to go do 5 today. You don't have to go do a 5K. Run for 30 seconds and then walk for a minute and then run for 30 seconds. And then next week, see if you can do for 45 seconds. As long as you're making progress, that's the only thing that matters. It's really easy to look at people and be like, geez, well, he just started running. Stop comparing. One of those quotes that I've always loved is, comparison is a thief of joy.
100%.
And so stop looking at comparison as what you're not doing and look at it more as what's possible. See what those people are doing. Like watching you do that 71 miles in the desert, man. Dude, there's something there that I just look at that proved, man, more is possible than I thought.
100%.
There's another gear that I don't have access to and I want to find.
Yep. And the crazy part about that is you only saw 71 miles. You didn't see 6 years ago when I was 30 pounds overweight and I couldn't get more than a quarter mile without stopping.
6 years.
So,
Right.
So that's where I started, was only being able to do a quarter mile. And that was okay at that time. I was happy with that.
Yeah.
I continued to show up. I continued to put my shoes and lace them up and get out into the mountains. And, I was just consistent with it.
Well, and the same thing, when I started trying to rebuild any type of cardiovascular system after the knee replacement, it was, I'm gonna go walk for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I even was getting up to just go walk down the street and back. Like, I was tracking steps on my Garmin and it was like, all right, the goal today is 2,000. Because that's what I could do.
Yeah.
Look at the long-term thing, right? I'm just at 2 years out of knee replacement and what I'm capable of doing. But that work started 2 years ago. It didn't just start 3 weeks ago.
Right.
So whatever it is you want to do, start today. Start now. Start doing something and get better at it tomorrow. It doesn't have to be full blast immediately. It's got to be consistent and you have to keep going. You just can't quit.
That's it. 100%.
Thank you guys for listening. We're gonna keep getting better at running.
Every day, man.
Roster runner, Dan, shoe stock, shoe talk, shoes stock,
Shoe stock is way better.
shoe stock with the boys. Check out Dan. Dan's got some great programming and stuff like that. We're gonna link below. He's got a 5K run program as well as
10K, I mean, depending on the distance, but also like the mobility work, the strength training that pairs along with the run programs, specialize in all of that stuff too.
check out Dan. Roster runner, spread hate, always party.